Cannot hear you. You are mute.
Yes, I'm muted. Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, good afternoon, Matthias. It's the first time, right? Finally.
Finally,
I mean,
I met.
Hello.
I was waiting for you.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
No, I met Douglas. Douglas, I know I met him several times, but no, we have not met yet.
No, just kidding. Nice to meet you here.
Sorry?
No, I mean, just kidding. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, no problem. Are we complete? I think so, right? From our side, at least.
Yeah, we are good here from
Okay,
VDBC.
perfect. Now let me first say thank you to make some time to have this meeting. The goal of the meeting today is to explain a bit what we will be working on or what our focus for the next year. Because we are planning to have some events, to have some things, and it might be an opportunity as we are a long-time member of VGPC to collaborate or to see how you look at it. And do you show something, or do I just explain the three pillars myself?
Yeah, I think we can just explain because in the last meeting, I already shared with Miss Hoon about this, about the three pillars that we will focus on this year. Is first is the circular retrofit. Second is
Yeah,
the future-proof new builds, and the last one is a critical mission healthcare and lab. But for the third one, I think the VGBC they don't have scope in this, so maybe we just focus
it's
on the
very
first two, three. Yeah,
specialized knowledge. Yeah, I see, Vu,
yeah.
that you have your hand raised. So
Yeah. Before we start, I'm just like to have a quick introduction. The
perfect.
reason why that I also want to call up the meeting today is to meet you first, and then second to introduce our new team.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of positive change at VCPC. I believe that at least since the last time you met Gab. So joining VCPC in 2025, we have business development director, Miss Chang Chen, who is very smiley in pink,
Nice to
and
meet you.
and then yeah, and then the senior marketing manager, Miss Nguyệt Hà, the short lady, the short hair lady. So this is our the new senior management. That's why this meeting is also want to let you know a lot of change and ability, a new approach, new ideas that DCBC will bring up this year. So that's
Yeah,
why today, if we again represent again your pillars, so that the Miss Chang and Miss Nguyệt Hà can join, can listen. And in addition, Miss Linh and Ngọc Anh are our marketing and BD members, so they are here to support you and support us during the activities between the two companies.
all right. No, great. Thank you for the introduction. I can quickly introduce myself, and then I go to the three pillars. Or on the one hand, we have Antu. She is our marketing manager at Boydens, Srico, Vietnam. And then myself, I lived in Vietnam for 3-4 years in the past. Now I work from Spain, Madrid, but I still often come to Vietnam. That's when I meet with Doug. So I follow up the international business development for Sweco, Boydens, Belgium. So everything that the strategic direction of what we want to do as in Vietnam locally. I work together with Antu on that. She does the marketing part. I do more the business development. and yeah, that's how we focus on the local market. So what we do of the local markets, let me first start a bit with the obvious, because not everybody in Vietnam always knows that, but we started in 2012 as Boydens Engineering in Vietnam. So our name in Vietnam is more known as Boydens, but since 2021 we are part of Sweco. Maybe I say something that you already all know, but Sweco is the biggest engineering company in Europe, has about 23,000 people. So we became from a family company to a very big family. We became part of a very big family, and that has changed a lot for us in the sense of suddenly we are a publicly traded company. Before we were like really a SME, like a small medium enterprise. Now we are really in a like publicly traded, very big company. So that makes that in terms of compliance, ethical standards, screening of clients, we are very, very selective in Vietnam. So before we enter in a project, we have to really we do a hard process of screening. But the DNA has not changed. So Boydens Engineering since the beginning was always focused on green building and always wanted to be on the forefront, wanted to change or to convince clients to do something new, that even if the market has not done it yet, to be on the forefront. So that's what we've been doing since the beginning in Vietnam, and that we still want to be doing. Now that we are part of Sweco, we also look a bit broader. So we have buildings part, but Sweco can also do infrastructure. Now we are working with New House. I don't know if you know New House. It's a sister company of EcoPark, where we do master planning. Their master planning and their sustainable. We are their sustainable partner for their development plans. So yeah, they have EcoPark in Hanoi, as everybody knows. I guess everybody in the meeting is in Hanoi, or most of you. They always had a drive for green development, but now we partner with them to bring in new ideas, new influx with our partners from Europe. Okay, let me come to the 3 pillars for buildings that we want to focus on, as Antu already said. The first pillar, or not the first one, but the one I first will mention is mission critical, because it's indeed a little bit less related to VGBC. That's hospital design, data center design, everything that is very critical. We have the specialists in Belgium, not in Belgium, in Europe actually. We have a collaboration with all the countries, where we have done many hospitals. Even in Vietnam, we have done 3 or 4 hospital designs already in the past with VK that became part of us. So that's one of the focuses, but that's for us like a little bit of focus separate of the general market, because the healthcare industry is like private investors. Maybe there are 6 or 7 private investors in Vietnam that invest in healthcare. So it's very targeted. The second one then, and the other 2 are more interesting to discuss today, is what we call new build. New build is what we have been doing since we are in the beginning in Vietnam. That's the biggest part. That's all the buildings that are newly constructed. What do? We work on schools. We have done UNIS. We've been the strategic partner with UNIS International School in Hanoi, and have done the campus development there for their sustainability and their buildings. We work on offices. We work a lot on hospitality projects, because that's where green building makes a lot of sense, because for the operator, 60% of their costs, I hope that number is still correct, but of their operation cost goes to energy, water, maintenance, and things like that. So a good design for the next 20 to 30 years is super important. And that's a bit the sector. So mixed use, of course, as well, where you have residential with other amenities, like shopping center and so on. That's also some projects that we have. So that's pretty known in Vietnam. but the one that we want to promote, that we really want to show and maybe make a little change in Vietnam, is what we call retrofit, circular retrofit. So what is that? What does that mean? So for us, we see that as there are several things under there. What we see in Vietnam is you have had an economy since, let's say, 2000, 2005, like a really fast-growing economy. Vietnam needed a lot of new buildings, a lot of new infrastructure. So in the cities, you have like a lot of structures that needed to be constructed new. Now we are 20 years later, and those first constructions, definitely in the hospitality sector, like hotels, we start to see that they need to make a choice. Either they build a new hotel, or they take what they have and rebrand it or renovate it. And there we notice that there is less expertise in Vietnam because historically, in the last 20 years, it was not so necessary. But it's something we want to bring, because in Europe, 60 to 70% of the projects we do for buildings is existing structures, is renovations, is rebranding, is renovating the technical equipment, is making an existing building sustainable. So 60 to 70% of all our projects in Europe is like that already. So in Vietnam, it will not be that big percentage. Maybe in 20 years it will be, but not now. But it is a specific expertise that we want to bring to Vietnam. And what do we think of? It's like, well, like I said, if you have a hotel, for example, and they want to go from, let's say, from one brand to another, from Pullman to Sheraton, that means that the standards change. Or the owner still wants to stay Pullman, but in the last 15 years, the standards of Accor, for example, has changed in terms of sustainability. People have evolved. So existing infrastructure, existing assets need to be adapted to what big companies now expect from their buildings. We see that also. We get contacted by big Western companies, telecom companies like the Googles, Amazons. They come to Vietnam and they say, look, what we expect of an office building is this, but they don't always go into new buildings. Some do, others go in existing buildings and have this question like, yeah, but how do we renovate? How do we make existing buildings sustainable? So that would be one of the focuses to do renovations. Another aspect that we see is in Vietnam, you have a lot of, definitely in the last 3-4 years, as everybody knows, the real estate sector has gone through a change, in the sense that existing developers have like disappeared or became smaller, or part of their assets has been sold to other investors. There are new players coming. The financing is a bit different. It's a bit more healthy. So there are other companies growing and other companies that sell their assets to those new ones. And that means that a lot of projects were in the last 5 years, let's say, halted, stopped. So you have a lot of projects, mostly also in the middle of Vietnam, that are stopped. The structure is sometimes there already. Sometimes the piling is already there. What do you do with a project like that, where you have an existing structure, where you have maybe already a master plan approved, maybe a 1-500 approved by the government? How, if you come as a new developer with new financing and you say like, okay, but this building that was planned 5 years ago is not as sustainable as the ambitions that you have nowadays in Vietnam. So we want to help developers like that, like take those projects, make due diligence of their before they buy a property or before they buy a plot of land where there is already a structure. Do due diligence, like how can we incorporate and make a sustainable design? Because to give an example, if you have a skeleton where the structure is already there, sometimes the ceiling is made like, let's say, 3.5 meters, because the developer before didn't think about fresh air supply. It was like when I came 10 years ago to Vietnam, almost no project had like fresh air supply. But if you look at the standards now, of what people expect, of what international operators also expect. You expect like that people have fresh air, and also that the air is filterable. So that means that if you have an existing structure with a certain ceiling height, it's sometimes challenging to fit in those new expectations within an existing structure. So that's where we bring our experience from Europe, because in Europe we work in very historical old buildings from 400, 500 years ago, where they didn't think about all the technical equipment that must be there. So that's another aspect of what we would like to focus on. And then the third part of existing structure is help international companies with their ESG, CSRD. In terms of, we have a huge team that is specialized in climate risk adaptation. So that's more to see like companies who have several assets, several buildings in Vietnam, to see like, could be for an insurance company, like what is the risk here for the climate impact? What if the sea level rises in Vietnam? What about every year we have, like this year, unfortunately, last year, we have heavier typhoons. What is the impact on my buildings? Some international companies really need to know that and want to prepare for it, because we know that the climate will change. So we need to prepare the buildings that we have, not to have damage, and to protect our people inside the buildings, right? So that's the third pillar, where we can help people adapt to climate adapted design, let's say, of their existing structure. So in a nutshell, that's a bit my interpretation of our strategy. I think, okay, the first one, mission critical, is really niche. Second one, new build, is for you guys nothing new. Many companies are that. But the third one is something I wanted to explain a bit more in depth, because it's also something that we would like to organize an event for later this year. Before I continue, I will ask if I don't know if you have questions or remarks on that.
Thanks, Matthias. So how I can call you, Matthias?
Perfect. You got it right.
So I believe that you make quite thick and deep information about Vietnam real estate market. As you say, we understand that you will focus for three things. One, what you are doing right now is hospital. So the second one is something relating to the healthcare, like office, school, or hospitality. The third thing, you want to focus also doing something like a due diligence service for the investor who want to make the FS or make the auditing before they make decision for M&A deal. Very good too. Yes. And as we see that from 5 years, since the 5 years, Vietnam real estate market has a bump relating to hospitality, especially for hotel and resort, and mainly focus for 4-star and 5-star. So Boydens is you want, what you are saying is that you're working on master plan for Eco Park. But as I understand that you are very good in terms of MEP company, isn't it? Yeah. And it seems that you are the company who win the deal with TNR in for next project in Haiphong. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes. But the thing is, our main focus is still MEP. So that MEP for buildings has been our focus since the beginning. We are in Vietnam. It will stay that focus, of course. But apart from that, we start to introduce specialists from Europe on other items. And one of them, as an example, is, for example, master plan or villa design for Eco Park, for New House, sister company of Eco Park.
Yeah, I got the point. So MEP is still the main thing. It's like but you want to extend and try to get like a sustainable development in terms of planification and master plan for township also. So
if a client is interested, yes. Like I say, we are kind of more selective on the partners we work with. But yes, if we see a client that really has that ambition and really wants to come with new ideas, it's something that we can add onto the MEP part, or even separate if the client only would want master planning, for example.
Yeah. So relating to MEP business, normally you will be like cooperate with any brand for hospitality?
We have done several projects. We have quite many projects with Accor. That's why I gave the examples of Accor. So yeah, I think we have done 7, 8 projects for Accor in Vietnam in the last years. And
I'm very good. ISG.
ISG, yes. We've been in contact. We have done 1 project with them as well. But I have been, for example, talking with them about that the circular retrofit, and it's something they are actually. It's also a focus of them. They told me that they will focus in the next years on rebranding, because they see a lot of consolidation happening in that sector in Vietnam, where family companies, before as a family you could have maybe 2-3 hotels. It's hard now to compete because, to give an example, Booking.com, Agoda, they need to pay 33% on every booking they get. But for example, an Accor or an IAG only pay 20%. So it's very hard for them to compete. So they start to buy family-owned hotels and rebrand them. So for them, in their strategy, that story also fits.
Yeah. I think that is very good point why I raised the question, because normally Accor, they have a collection of own design team and also material. They have like a standard for their brand, each brand.
Yes.
But it's good when you work with cooperate with Accor because they're quite aggressive. Accor and Escort right now, they're really aggressive in the quite overwork, exhausted because too much project in Vietnam. But because the pricing and the condition is not too much high, not too much difficult like an ISG system. ISG is extremely very difficult for the standard for Vietnam to achieve, even for design also requirement. So but normally you want MEP system, you focus for lighting or
we do lighting design as well. We have done in Cat Linh in Hanoi, close to the Temple of Literature. We've done a hotel there. There's the Grand Mercure, new hotel, and we've done the lighting design, for example.
Okay, so quite good.
What we also do, but I have presented that in the past already, is like dynamic simulations, like comfort. Before we start putting any equipment inside the building, we look like to the comfort of the people, to the glazing selection, and so on.
So I will ask you a question. Very curious, why you want to join VGBC? What do you expect when you decided to be the member of VGBC?
But we are members since 2013, I think, or 2000, since very long. I don't know, 2015 maybe. I don't know, but we've been a long-time member of VGBC. Why? Because what I said in the beginning, we want to be on the forefront of the change in Vietnam, and that's not something you can do alone. That's why, as companies who have a focus on green building, who have a focus on sustainability, they need to speak with one voice. Sometimes they need to say, like, look, it's not acceptable anymore. Community, but also to teach. There is a role of somehow teaching is maybe a bit
educate the market.
Educate the market. That's better expressed. Yes, exactly. Educate the market of what is the next step. What can you do? What are the advantages of working with green buildings? There's so much research out there, but as one company, we cannot get that all out. But as a like VGBC has a voice, is invited in many conferences. I've seen Douglas speak as an introduction many events. I always tell him that he must be traveling full time.
Yeah.
But yes, you have a voice and you have a credibility to bring that message.
And you want to belong to that community too, and contributed for Vietnam real estate market grow up in terms of design and understanding for the customer.
We are already part of that community, and we want to stay part of that community. What has changed a bit maybe with last year is that now we look at bringing that message ourselves, like organizing ourselves an event about renovation of existing property. And that's what we would be interested to discuss with you as VGBC. Is that something that you would be interested in supporting, and how would that look like, that support, you know?
Yeah, I'm really proud, and I'm really I'm impressed what you just expressed for us, the reason why you want to join VGBC and what you did expect from VGBC. Thank you so much, as we have a member like a Boyden in our how can I say, member of VGBC. The one thing, we understand your target for business for 2025, and but you know that we can cooperate for internal business, so we can cooperate by the cross sale. Example, we can make an introduction with you in for the new project, for new project, and also for the existing project. They want to upgrade into in terms of green building system. But the question is that in terms of your internally of Boyden, do you have the people that get the license or certification from Lotus system?
We have, I think we have one or two. Yes.
Lotus AP.
Yeah, we have two Lotus AP. We have Hung, and I think we have someone else, but I would have to check. But yeah, for sure one, and I think two. Yeah.
Yeah, good question, right? Because to be honest, before joining VGBC, I have 21 years in real estate, design, and M&A. So I can share some information with you and understand about the market together with you. But when we work with VGBC, we have to find out the opportunity and how the solution, how to grow up together with the member. So my question is that whenever I want to introduce you with the client, because we are the same client, is a real estate owner or real estate developer. It could be hotel, it could be resort, it could be residential or township. The question is that in terms of VGBC is a green building system. So my question is that in terms of Boyden, internally, do you have Lotus IP already or not yet? That's the first question.
We have Lotus IP already, yeah. One, maybe two, but for sure we have one person who's a Lotus IP. And it's also something that I like, for example, with Newhouse, a lot of questions are about materiality. Because if you look at hospitality new build projects, many projects in Vietnam are still concrete with steel or aluminium or the windows. So there was not
recycled material.
Exactly. So or using, for example, timber, and in Europe we use a lot of timber, but there's some still also there. For example, we see there is a lot of there's a lot of place still to do things. What's super interesting for me to work in Vietnam is like when you see a deconstruction of a house in Vietnam, when they remove a house, you have this informal economy where people take things and sell informally. That's something, for example, that in Europe now is a trend to try to make an industry like that, to reuse materials, circularity of materials. It's something you have already informal in Vietnam, but how can we bring that on a bigger scale in Vietnam to, for example, a developer like EcoPark? How can we make them reuse materials on the scale of the projects they use? That's a very difficult question. Also, like how do you, when you use timber, how do you make sure that the wood is from a good sourced product? How can you use, because in Lotus you talk about using local materials, but you have like an industry that is sometimes, so ceramics, for example, in Bachang, is very small companies or family companies. How do you translate that to a project of the size of an eco park, for example? That's very interesting questions, and that I was talking with the client of. I used some examples of your what you have on your website of the Lotus. I forgot which one. I think it was the residential one, where you give examples of sustainable materials. But that's something that really will come in the next years, I think. The use of materials and asking the questions of what materials do we use, why, and so on.
So what we quite, is a meeting and talking. So we will exchange our knowledge together also. What you're saying about example, the case study in like eco park example. So you want to bring the new concept for market relating to the eco and recycled material. But that for the northern province, we didn't. They don't have much concept like that. But in the northern of Vietnam, I recognize that quite a lot of projects they're starting for eco-friendly concept already, especially for the Malaysian or the Indonesian. They already have the experience in their country and they want to make the concept the same in Vietnam. So that's the reason why in terms of master plan or the concept, they will build something for recycled material as the wooden or the connecting between the park and river together with the residential part. So to be honest, me and Douglas, we are the same choosing panel of Asia Property Award. So every year we have to choose a lot of projects. So we have quite a lot of story to share with you too. So come back to our work today for VGBC. Why I raised question about Lotus IP example, and I think also for new material recycle should be a credit, maybe a new training also for like a design company also. What do you think? And I really want to hear from you also for the requirement for training costs could be provided by VGBC to help each other also. Example, Lotus IP is understand how many credit and how to help the designer team to do and understand the Lotus system. But in terms of more specifically for design team example, they may should understand about recycled material. It could be a credit or some cost especially for MEP, some cost especially for engineer example. So I really want to hear your opinion on this point.
So your question is which kind of training could be interesting for us, or?
Yes, right.
Okay, let me think a moment.
For the green sustainable development.
For green development, yes. I think maybe not for us, but what would be interested is that I see a lot of initiatives of material use in Vietnam, producers, small startups that do, for example, recycled asphalt for the roads.
That's right.
I see things happening in Vietnam, but I think those people would have an advantage of having a training in how to officialize that, because if you come as a Western company, a Western developer or an international company, and you use those materials in your products, how do you prove that it's sustainable? That's as a designer for us very difficult. I see a lot of nice initiatives, but how do we prove that the wood is sustainably sourced? How do we prove that it's so in that sense, I think that VGBC could have a very beautiful role in helping those initiatives, those producers learn how to professionalize that in a way.
In VGBC, we not only provide the certification for green building, but also help to producer to help them guideline for them how to get
Exactly.
green product certification.
Yes, yes, that would be.
And yeah, another one is VGBC also to provide on the training course also. That's the reason why I raised the question, if Boyden, the design team, basically the design team, what do the designer team, what they need for improve their work in terms understanding about the green building system example, or what they want to have more, so we can create in some special course or credit for your team.
In terms of green building, I think the knowledge of how to do a sustainable building is there. What's maybe lacking in Vietnam is knowledge about, once the building is there, how to do the testing and commissioning. Because if you have I'm thinking now MEP, okay? Let me focus on our core. For MEP, you have all those systems, but then those systems need to be programmed in the right way. And that's sometimes I have seen projects we work on in Vietnam that we put super good system, and then you go back after 2 months and all the settings are, they change the settings to manual. They just switched off the fresh air because they think like, whoa, this is too complicated. So there's still
I understand. Yeah, for in terms of new building, no problem, but operational engineer team.
But even for new building, I mean, we can, as a designer, we can give you a great new building with top-notch materials, top-notch, the air handling unit, like the best is in the market. But if the
operational is different,
it's different, or testing and commissioning, just putting like, then we are in contact, for example, with Schneider or with Honeywell, and PMS. They are the ones who should program, like if a window goes open, watch out.
Yeah, PMS system to control the energy saving.
Yes, but then I see that they use programs of. I had a project where we put all that new material. And then Schneider came. I don't want to talk about Schneider. So let's say somebody comes and they put in the software of 2005. Yeah, then all our equipment will not work as it is supposed to be. So I think there is a lot of training, but also in our company, like how do you do testing? How do you make sure that the building is delivered to the client, working? That the BMS is working perfectly in a sustainable way.
I understand. Very important. Very interesting. Yeah. So okay, how to cooperate between VGBC and Boyden? Firstly, we can cross-sell by introducing you with our client when they approach us for green building certification. So I expect that you can have some like a special program for our member, VGBC member, so we can help you to promote with all our member, and also the client. The client and the owner project is also our member in VGBC. So we should help you on this part. This part is the first thing. The second one, the reason why we have the meeting today also is because maybe there's some event you want to be a part as a speaker or co-host or sponsor together with us, right? And that's the reason why we want to ask, maybe for this point, Ms. Tu and Ms. Việt Hà can talk together about the topic you want to raise up. Example, you can care about the healthcare design. So example, for the hospital, you want to expand, so you want to have a talk about what is some highlight point or the change in the market in terms of design for healthcare, for the whole hospitality in a green building project.
Yes, what we're also thinking about is organizing an event ourselves. And two, maybe you mentioned already, but it's an event in our office in Ho Chi Minh City, and we were wondering if, how could VGBC support us? Like, for example, announce our event, maybe co-host or whatever. But yeah, that's my question a little bit. Like, if we make an event ourselves, first of all, it would be great to have an introduction, for example, from Douglas. But also, like, how can you help promote that event? Yes.
Yeah, we all support for the member. Hương Boyden is our silver member.
Yep.
Okay, so we have also a new membership benefit for 2025, which Ms. Huang will circulate and send you soon. And in relating for the event, we willing to support you in terms of attendee. I mean that we can support you for the speaker, and if you need, and also you can exchange by joining with our VTBC event too. So example for ESG relating for this year, we have at least for 2 events we co-host. So our job is also to make the organizer, we are the organizer for the event. So we may ask you to join as a sharing about the new trend, how to involve in ESG project from design example, something like that, a facility, due diligence, whatever. So we cooperate with GREPS. GREPS is a Singaporean group, so they work on green finance.
Okay.
So it could be one of the topic we can exchange together. But for also we want to know if inside of Boyden, do you have any event hosted by Boyden for this year?
Yeah, that's what I said. We have the event about renovation. Antu, it's in May, right?
Yeah, we plan to make it in May, and one more event in October, but we not decided yet. But the May is like right now the topic will be renovation, and we want to ask VCBC how you can support this event in terms of like the co-host event or like the media support, like you share about the event on your channel or send to your member your mailing list. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I just want you to ask about this. And even other events that organized by the VTBC, like you said before, the opportunity to be the speaker or the co-host. Actually now I'm not sure that how many events that you want to organize this year and what the topic you are focused on. But as we share with you, like the topic we want to focus is circular retrofit, the renovation, and something related to the new builds, hospitality, like the resort or the hotel. Yeah, something like that.
Okay. For this, Huang, can you work closely and in detail with Ms. Tu? So to get the topic which they want to join for this year. And then by exchange, we will send them also our topic for this year too, and figure out which event they can join with us and how. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So for new build for hospitality in a hotel is quite interesting topic, you know. Very interesting. It's very the most attractive in terms of real estate, which I never accept myself to miss any conference about that.
Another question, maybe, do you guys also organize webinars? Maybe, okay, on the one hand, you have like bigger events in person, but of course, as specifically for our company, we have specialists in Europe. I myself are based in Europe. I'm often in Vietnam, but not all the time. We have other specialists, very experts on specific topics in Europe. So I was discussing with Antu before, we were discussing about, would be interesting to join webinars where we have our experts, because of course we have our team in Vietnam and they are specialized in green buildings for Vietnam. But sometimes it's interesting to bring something new or an example of somewhere else in the world. And that could be, of course, sustainability. We don't always want to fly over people to Vietnam. That also has an impact on the sustainability. So webinars could be a nice solution there to bring the community together, and but still bring expertise from on certain topics.
Yeah, agree. Noted that. Is on our is on our plan also, but we
Good.
have to work in detail for which topic, for which timeline, and who will be the speaker for how long. 20 minutes, for example, for one speech. So
Yes.
for the detail, we will this exchange later on.
Okay, that's great.
So I think that is quite nice to have information and have a talk to you. I expect that we can have like a closer and more meeting together. At least quarterly, we should have one, so we can exchange and how and see how we can support each other, and also talk about the trend of my market too. Example for me today, I can share with you that right now, for VTBC client approach us quite a lot. Even office, no more, but resident, hotel and resort is one of the hot topic inquiry we receive from the market for green building. So yeah, and it should be and township also. So it should be something matching with Boyden, some guideline for you to think about the inquiry and the market trend also. So
where are you based, John? In Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh?
I'm in Hanoi right now.
Okay, because I will be in Hanoi in probably the middle of April.
Middle of April.
So it would be nice to meet.
You should, you should meet each other. Yeah. Should. I have, I think that 26, 25 April, I will be in Japan for 2 weeks. And then I'm back. But before that, it's okay.
Okay, perfect.
Or whenever I go to Ho Chi Minh City, I will let you know to catch up.
Yeah. But I'm based in Europe. I'm not in Ho Chi Minh either.
Really? I thought that you were in Ho Chi Minh.
No. I'm in Spain.
So too, also, are you based in Ho Chi Minh City?
Yeah. I'm in Ho Chi Minh City.
So hope have a chance to meet you guys in Hanoi when Matthias come to Hanoi. In April. So only 25th, from 25th, I'm not in Vietnam. So before that is okay.
Yeah, I wish I was in Japan, but I'm not. I will be in Vietnam.
Should be a lot of change. And also to understand the market. Real estate market is very interesting for it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
I suggest you to joining with Mauricio. Moro, not Mauricio. Mauricio is Moro. Horeca. Yeah, and he is quite. He's also a church in our panel, panelist for same like Asia Property Award. So he based in Ho Chi Minh City. And he the host for quite big event for two times, right? One in Ho Chi Minh, one in Hanoi, and also he organized also some event in Bangkok or in Philippines, but mainly focus for hospitality. I think you should join with them and have a talk in the event with Moro.
Yeah, but we know him.
Host night. Yeah.
Meet the experts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's quite fun. I think it's quite fun because over there we can see a lot of new concepts and new channels of hospitality. If you want to focus on that in Vietnam, you should join with them.
Yes. Okay. Good. Perfect.
Yeah, I think that as association to support a member, we have to exchange the information with you to guide you and give you some information about Vietnam market to better and that's on our job also, and we learn to do that.
Great.
Okay, so conclusion, thinking about the Boyden's special program or something like that with VTBC member, so we can circulate and help you to understand about Boyden. The second one is about the renovation, right? You want to make the event on May.
Yeah.
And we should understand. We should. You can share the information so we can think about how to. If we can have a chance in the same topic, we can share it together. Relating for the new build hospitality and hotel in October, you want to do, right, speaker? Later on, we can we can talk later. But relating for own VGBC event, Miss Huang will share with you whenever we fix the topic.
Okay.
We have a expect we have plan already, but now we decide because you know we have a bunch of list of member and all the members say I want to join your event, so so we have to fix what is it or what is it. Summarize. That's the reason why we should talk with you.
Because I'm coming sometimes to Vietnam, sometimes Dirk Boydens is coming to Vietnam. So, but we plan our trips based on events. So if we know in advance, like for example, if you have plans to do something second half of October, then I can adjust my trip because we plan our trips quite in advance. So if you have more information, please share as fast as possible.
Yeah, I got the point. And very good point you raised up already about webinar. So we can change the expert from Boyden can join with Arena. And has Twitch. Very good point. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you too.
I'm really happy to meet you. You know, as I start with Huang that we should meet on member and we should listen from them and how we can support them to promote in Vietnam. It's our job. Right? If anything you think, oh, VGBC should do something like that, please let me know.
I will. Yeah, that's great.
Thank you. Me too. Thank you.
Yeah,
for
thank
this
you
meeting.
too. Yeah,
thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Yeah, bye bye.